Hey, you guys. I'm sorry this camera's so bad, but it's an old Logitech camera from a long time ago. So, by the way, most of it won't be even be on the on here. It'll be on my computer. Sorry, this is so bad. Anyway, I wanted to record a video for you guys about how to lay out your business cards for your assignment. And I'm going to be doing, this is kind of like a 3-part video. We're going to be doing today's video is for your first business card assignment, which will be all the business cards, only text and color and glyphs. And that's it. Okay. And that it's, you know, it makes you work. It makes you work at layout, and it makes you learn how to lay out, and it makes you really explore typographic options for your business cards. And your assignment is that you're going to do 4 different layouts, and each one of them has a front and a back. So it's 8 designs. Okay. I'm going to walk you through one design, but you'll do 3 more because you guys are in the class. But I just want to show you how to set it all up, and a couple of things that will be that so you can do your assignment. I'm going to be switching over now to my desktop and showing you what's going on. Okay, so okay, here we go. See you later, alligator. And I'm also going to stop my video so that I'm not up here in the corner. So see you later, bye. Okay, guys, so what's going on here is that I have the Zoom meeting thing up here. So what we're going to do is before we go into InDesign, there's a couple of preliminary things that I want to talk about. The first thing is that normally when you are going to do graphic design, you need to have the specs from the printer. Because all printers have specific ways that they print things, and they have specific different kinds of papers. So I'm going to log in here because I do have an account. I'm going to sign in. I do get stuff printed on Zoom, on Move. They're very good. So the first thing I want to walk you through is we're making business cards. So let's go to the business card place here. And we can see that they have a couple different things here. The first thing is regular business cards right here. They have the original business card. They have cotton, super, luxe, and then they have some specific finishes like gold, silver, spot gloss. They also have a very luxe variety. They also have, by the way, letterpress, which is interesting, which is all the way down here, which we'll talk about later. Also, usually printers will send you a sample pack, and that's kind of nice. If you are going to do a job and you want to see what they have before you do it, they'll send you one of these little sample packs, and the sample pack will have a sort of an example of their stock, all the sizes, the finishes, which are uncoated, matte, soft touch, and gloss, and your special finishes. And I'm going to grab one of these because they're free. And I haven't printed business cards with Move for a while, so I might as well just grab one while I'm here. But going back to the business card area, we for this class are going to be the first layout that we're doing right now. We're just really going to be doing a regular business card layout. And then I will show you how to put spot gloss and different stuff on it afterwards. Now, if you go here, Moo offers, you know, a couple of different sizes. And we're going to do this regular size. If you wanted to do something different, like if you want one of these because you really are going to get it printed with this company, you could do that too. It's up to you. I'm going to do standard. That's what I want. You have the printing, either matte or gloss. They're pretty self-explanatory. And you don't put that in until you upload the file. So we don't have to choose that right now. Okay. You can also choose your corners, but of course we don't have to choose that right now. That's when we upload. And then they're giving you, you know, exact prices of what it costs to print. Now, one thing that Moo does, which is cool, by the way, I do not work for Moo and I do not get any kickback or any of that stuff. It's just that I know that they're quality printers, so I'm using them as an example. You can print a different design on the back of every different card. This is very cool. We're going to talk about this next week when we do images. But what I'm really looking to do is get all the way down here. They will always, usually online printers especially, will give this to you. They will show you where the bleed area is, what the trim area is, and what the safe area is. And that means that, you know, because business cards are printed really quickly, the safe area, like don't put any text outside of the safe area. They usually give you a design guideline, and so we might as well just grab one. So I'm going to click on InDesign. It's going to download my InDesign guide here, and that's going to help me to lay this out. Okay. And before I go, I just see down here one of the aspects of the cards, and that is that I see that they're offering cotton business cards that are recycled. They're made from recycled t-shirt fabric. They're uncoated. And this is something that, you know, when I'm going to upload it, I'm going to keep this in mind because I would definitely go for this option because it's recycled and it's kind of cool. Okay, so now that we have our template, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna minimize that guy and I'm gonna open up InDesign. Okay, so I'm actually in InDesign, and what I'm gonna do is I wanna create a new file. Now, since I have a downloaded this template from Moo, I'm going to go ahead and use this because this has all of the margins and guides and things that I need on it, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drag this into InDesign. And obviously now this is pretty big, so I'm gonna do Command minus minus, and it's just showing me here. So it's showing me that this is my bleed area. This is the trim, and this is the safe area. And the safe area means, you know, these are printed quite quickly. So you don't want your name all the way up here. You want to keep all the important text in the safe area, right? So that it doesn't get cut off or anything like that. Now, this is important. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to come back to this. Doing this business card project before we do a book project is really important because we're going to get to see kind of all this stuff, but in a really small way. So we need this, and where is this? Like, where is this information? So if we go over here to layers, we see that we have two layers here. We have the artwork guidelines, which is here, and then we have the design layer. And this is just like in Photoshop. So you can turn the artwork on, you could turn, you know, this is the guidelines, you could turn the guidelines on and off. And so we're gonna leave those here because we want to come back to this. We wanna come back to this first, you know, later on. But for now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this off. Now, if I wanted to start designing now and I kind of go here, it's not gonna let me. And it's not gonna let me do that because I'm actually on this layer, I'm on the artwork guidelines layer. If I click down here to the design layer, then it's fine. I can go ahead and start designing some stuff. But the thing that I want to do first, before I do anything else, is I want to set this up so that my business cards will lay out right next to each other so I can see the front and the back. And this is really important for, you know, just, you know, showing your work to the client, stuff like that, right? So what I'm going to do before anything else is you'll notice that this is the we just opened a file from Blurb. So before anything else, I'm going to go File, and I'm going to go Save As, and I'm going to go Command D for my desktop, and I'm going to make a new folder. And this new folder I'm going to call let's see, Kimberly's Biz Card. Remember that you want to keep everything together in a folder and stuff like that. And then that's the folder name. I'm going to rename this Biz Card Layouts. Okay. And it's an INDD, that's fine. InDesign 2020, fine. Okay, so that all works. Let's click on save. And so I'm going to do Command minus. Okay, so I only have one. Let's go to pages. So we're on the right layer. Okay, so great. So let's go to pages. So I only have one business card here. And so I know that I need 8 of these for my, for my assignment. So I can come down here in the pages panel. I can go down here to the bottom of here, and I can add another business card, and I can add another one. Now the problem is, right, I'm gonna go to the selection tool. I'm gonna do Command minus minus minus. So it's giving me my business cards, but it's laying them out one after another. And for this specific project, I want to be able to see both the front and the back right next to each other, so that because by the time you scroll down to this one, you forget what the front looks like, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make these pages facing pages. So we're going to go over here to edit, and we're going to go down here to, sorry, it's file, and we're going to go down here to the document presets. Oh no, document setup, sorry. Go down here, document setup, and click it. And this is going to show us the setup of our document, the document setup. And we're going to click facing pages, and we're going to go over here and click preview. And so what's happening now is that the pages are laying out like in a book kind of a deal, right? So, so that they'll be right next to each other. So that's what I want. I'm going to click on OK. And I only have 4 now, so I'm going to add the 4 more that I need. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we have here is called a signature. And if you think about it like a folded like book, right? Here's, here would be the cover. This is the spine going down the middle, and this would be the back. So if we were making like a simple zine or something like that and printing it and folding it, this would be exactly what we want. But we don't really want this right now. What we want is we want everything to be like front, back, front, back, front, back. So these guys need to stick together. But they're not going to want to do that. So what I'm going to do, right, is I'm on page 8. I'm going to add one more page, and you can see that now I have, for the 4 layouts, I have front, back, front, back, front, back, front, back. But then I got this little guy up here. Now I can't just delete this because this really wants to be a signature, right? So if I delete it, if I drag it into the garbage, and I'm going to click on don't show again because it's annoying. See, look what happened. That's not what I want. I'm going to do Command Z to undo it. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure that the pages and the spreads do not shuffle, right? I want them stuck together. So I'm going to click on this page right here. I'm going to hold Shift, click all the way to 9. And then I'm going to go up here and click on unclick allow document pages to shuffle, and also go up here and unclick allow selected pages to shuffle. And you see how there's now like a parentheses between these, right? So now I can take this little guy, I can drag it in the garbage, and my business cards will be next to each other, okay, for the purposes of presentation. This is idea presentation. Now, when these are going to be uploaded, we're going to have to change this. But for now, we're going to leave this like this. So I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Save, and we're done kind of with our setup for now. Okay, so let's go to the first spread. If I click on page 1 like this, you can see that what happens is it puts page 1 right in the middle of my screen. If I click right between the 1 and the 2 like this, okay, let me do Command minus minus. Say I'm down here. If I click in the middle, it should display both of these together. Now, if I want to move this over, I'm going to hit the space bar with my finger. I'm going to move these guys over a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to actually collapse this just because I don't need it right now. And so, we can see the whole layout. So I'm going to use the space bar and move it over a little bit. Okay, perfect. So this is my first business card layout, and I have the front, and this is going to be the back. Now, before getting in here, I have done some thinking about my fonts, but before I do any of that, I'm gonna hit the space bar again. I'm gonna move this over, and then here on the paste board, I'm gonna grab the type tool, and I'm gonna draw myself a frame, and I am just going to enter the text that I'm gonna have on my business card. So I have my name. That's the first thing that's important to me. The second thing that's important to me is my website. Now, why is this red? It's red because if we go to the layers panel, this layer has been designated to be red. You can make any of your layers any color that you want. So if I wanted to right click this and go to layer options for this, I mean, I could pick a different color. If it's offending me, I could go to, you know, pink or something like that and click OK, and then it would be pink. So that's fine. Okay, so I have my cherry, oh, I spelled it wrong, cherry moya tree.com. So that's important to me. That's my website. Also important to me is my, oops. Also important to me, let's say, is right now my Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and put my Instagram handle on here. So okay. And obviously we're going to have to say that this is Instagram, you know. So this is good for now. I mean, I could put more things. Actually, let's pretend I'm going to put my phone number on here. And I'm not going to put my actual phone number. I have no idea whose phone number this is, so, you know. And these all kind of come in at the default, which is Minion Pro at 12 points. So that's fine. I'm going to just leave these over here. And what I'm going to do with these, if I know they're going to be on each card, is I'm going to leave this out here. And then when I come over here to do this layout, I'm going to copy these. And then that way I can sort of copy all of these and move them down to the next card. When I'm going to do the next layout, I have to retype them, right? So I'm going to bring these in like one at a time. And if I want to make a copy of this, I'm in the selection tool. If I want to make a copy of this, all I have to do is hold Option, drag it in, and it's a copy. Hold Option, drag it in, hold Option, drag it in, hold Option, drag it in. And the first thing that I'm going to do with this, now this is where the layout comes in. So here this is you guys, like, you know, there's no way to kind of tell you how to do the layout. I mean, it's your layout, right? But I can do an idea that I want to do, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move all these over here for a second. And what I'm going to do with my name on this one. Now, I know in advance what typefaces that I want to use. So the typeface that I'm going to be using here on all of my business card, the whole thing, I'm going to select all my frames. I'm going to click on the type tool, and then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to put in Caslin. I'm going to put C-A-S, and Caslin comes up immediately. And it's a pro family, so I know it has a lot of like beautiful, you know, there's a lot of options for me. We're going to see those in a second. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to choose for my name. I'm going to go ahead and choose the Pro Italic, which is really, really pretty. I'm going to choose that. Okay. And I'm going to deselect. It's really important in InDesign after you're doing something to deselect it. Okay, so this little guy right here, what I'm going to do with it is I want my name to be really, really large, and I'm going to put my name all on this side. So I'm going to go to the type tool, and I'm going to select my middle name. I'm going to right click. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm going to select it again. I'm not going to right click. I'm going to do Command X, which is cut. I'm still in the type tool. I'm going to make another frame. Command V, which is paste. Still in the type tool, I'm gonna take Gonzalez, Command X, cut. I'm still in the type tool, come down here, Command V, paste. And then what I'm gonna do quickly is sort of, I'm gonna just clean this up a little teeny bit. You don't want the frames like this because you want to give them some space, but you also you don't want the frames like this either. So I'm just going to clean this up a teeny bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size of my name quite a bit. So I have see how I move these. So now I have smart guides on. So smart guides are the best because now it'll show that these are all aligned. And if I move that just a little bit, it shows the gap is perfect. And you want to make sure you're working with your smart guides. So go to view and you want to go to grids and guides and make sure that these little guys are on here, okay? Because they're really good. So now, just hiccup. So now I have my name here. I'm gonna select all these and I'm gonna hold Command and Shift together, and I'm going to make my name much bigger. And I'm going to hit W for a second. Now I'm going to hit W again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these much closer together like this, and hit W again. And then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to eyeball it, right? Because what's happening is having this on is making me want to do layout with these boxes. But these boxes could be different sizes. That's really not it. So I'm gonna hit W. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sort of use my, just eyeball it basically and see how, what kind of looks good to me. So I kind of like that. So just, right off the bat, but I wanna make sure these are kind of even. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to hit W again. See how the frames are overlapping? So I'm going to select all of these guys together, and then I'm going to go to my align panel. If you don't see align, you want to go up to window and you'll go to object and layout, and you can launch the align panel from here. Now, mind you, all of this that I'm doing right now is layout. So it's going to be different on yours. So you're not doing this exact layout that I'm doing. I'm just showing you one layout, and then I'm going to show you how to export it. So using the align panel, you got to tell it what to align to. For example, it could align to the page, it could align to different kinds of things. We're going to align it to selection, which means that whatever selected here is going to align. And let's just say distribute evenly. You see how it moved this down a little bit. So now these guys are all, if I hit, I'm deselected, I'm gonna hit W. So these guys are all basically at the same distance. Okay, I'm gonna hit W again. And I like this, but see how close to here this is? There's no reason for that. So I'm gonna select them all together, and I'm just gonna move them in a little bit like that. Okay, I'm gonna hit W again. Okay, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna hit W again. Perfect. So now I have these guys to deal with. Now notice I haven't even introduced any color. We're only doing typography. Okay, I'm gonna collapse that. Okay, so these guys, let's see how big these are. Type tool, these are 12, and there's not a lot of, this is kind of big. I want my name big, but I want these a lot smaller. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select them all again, go to the type tool. They're Caslin, which is what I want, but I want them a lot smaller. So I'm going to go way down. I'm going to go to 11. And I don't think I want everything on this card to be italics. I think that's kind of weird. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to choose regular. And I'm actually going to drop this down another 0.10 to give it some type contrast. And I like that. So I'm going to go back here to the selection tool, and I'm going to start now. See how big these are? I'm just going to kind of move these in a little bit. They don't have to be that big. And for this card, I'm really just going with a really basic layout here. I'm just going to line, I'm going to line these up. I'm going to make sure that like this guy right here, this first one is kind of aligning. Now this is the middle of the page right here. So I'm going to go down here, maybe see, this is where that is. So yeah, let's just go there. Okay, that's my, that is my website. This is my Instagram, and this is my phone number. So I'm going to do the typography on these, and then we will align them. Okay, so this first one up here, it's a website. I don't really think it needs any more. I think people will get that, hopefully. Now this guy right here, so this is Instagram. So what I'm going to do is I want to put a glyph here with a little Instagram symbol on it before my Instagram account, so people know, you know, what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to type, and I'm going to find my glyphs panel. I'm going to launch that. And the glyphs panel has all of the glyphs that any font has. So if I look here, this font that I'm using right now is Caslin. I can see that down here. And these are all of the glyphs, right? This is everything in Caslin. But, you know, I mean, your keyboard is only so big. So that's why the glyphs panel is so important, is because these are all type ornaments and all these things that are very hidden inside of Caslin. And I'm going to be using some of these ornaments over here on the back to make a design. Right now, though, Caslin, that's not really what I want. I want my Instagram symbol that's going to go here. So I'm going to go back to my type tool. I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to put my cursor blinking right here in front of Cherimoetry. And then I'm going to change the font. Okay, so I'm going to go down here to social media circled. And I'm going to look for my Instagram circle. I'm going to double click it. And so now that one area right there tells me that that's Instagram. There is a couple of other more icons here that aren't, you know, there's other different social media. There's Airbnb. Now, if I don't like this one, I could try another one. I could try social shapes and see if I like that a little bit better. And I think I might like that a little bit better. So let's see how Instagram looks if I do that one. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, and I do like that better. So I'm going to go in and delete the circle. And now I have my little Instagram camera. Okay, I'm going to give myself a little space there. And so that's perfect. Now, I'm done with this for a second. So I'm just going to kind of leave it over here because I'm going to want this again. Okay. And what I could put now, it makes me feel like I want a little icon here for website, and I want a little icon here for phone number. So I'm going to put my cursor here, and then I'm going to go here to glyphs, and I'm going to see if I have another thing here, and I have webdings. So for this one, I'm going to put, now I'm just doing this layout. This is a rough layout. So I would probably wind up changing this glyph later on, but just for the sake of doing a layout, right? So I'm going to find a glyph that I'm going to use for like website. Oh, this is very 1990s. Okay. And then I'm going to click my cursor here, and I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to find one more image font, like, for example, Wingdings. Okay, and let's see, there should be a telephone here somewhere. Oh my God, look at these little discs. Wow. Let's see, Wingdings 2, and Wingdings 3. There are so many of these image fonts, by the way. So many. Ding bets. Oh, let's use the phone. Okay. Okay, so delete that. So you can see like now these guys are all different. I'm going to do Command plus plus. Okay. Put this kind of over here for now because I don't. So I always have it over here if I want it, right? Nice. Okay. Okay. Now, this is all just layout stuff. This would have to be bigger. This would have to be smaller. And, you know, you just kind of like this would need another space in it. And this would need another space. Okay. Command 0, Command minus, minus. Okay, make sure nothing's selected. I'm going to hit W. And then I would want these to be closer. Okay. And then I could do the same thing over here. I could go to these, go to align. They're set to selection, distribute evenly, moved them a little bit. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you over here, I'm going to hit W again, is I would like the numbers to be prettier. These are lining numbers, and what I would like these to be is I would like these to be old style numbers. They're much prettier, they're much more lyrical. So I'm going to open my Glyphs panel here, and I'm going to go to the type tool, and I'm going to highlight 3. And then I can see that I have my different 3s here, right? So I'm going to go to show, and it's showing me the whole font. So I'm going to go to show, and I'm going to say, I would like just to see the old style figures, right? And these are the numbers that are like much prettier. They kind of like jump up and down. You can see these a lot on houses, actually, like on addresses. Okay. And they're a lot prettier. They kind of, so normally the numbers that everybody uses on, you know, a computer, those are called lining numbers. And it's because they line up. They're completely even because math. And we're not doing math here. So I think that looks prettier. I do want to put a dot between my phone number like that. Okay, let's go back to this tool. Let's hit W. Let's make this a little smaller. Command minus minus. And so that's, I'm happy with the first. Now I haven't added any color yet. And so what we could be doing with the color here is, you know, adding some color. But if we look over here at our swatches, there's really nothing. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about that in class. For right now, I mean, you can pick colors for your text by highlighting the text. Okay. Double clicking, you could do this way. This is a really crappy way to pick color though. So I really wouldn't do it this way at all, because it just doesn't really, it's just not a great way to pick color. It just never looks good. I'm going to undo that. And I'm going to talk about this in class in week 3. It's a lot easier to go over. I do have the back to do here. And so what I want to put here on the back is I want to repeat my name, and I'm going to hit W. I want to repeat my name. I want to say what I do, and I want to put a design here. So I'm going to go back over to here. Okay, I'm going to hit Option and drag this little guy over here. Okay, I'm going to hit the space bar, move over here. I'm going to hit Option again. I'm going to, now I could hit T over here, but I'm just going to double click and do Command A for select all. And then here I'm going to put artist, teacher, maker. And then I'm going to group these together. Go back to the type tool, go here. Now in the very top, it's whatever font you've been using. So it's Caslin Pro, I'm going to choose it. And here I would like it to be, again, I'd like it to be that italic, that really pretty italic. So I'm going to do that with it. and I'm gonna hit W to see how it looks. Okay, now I don't have to go all the way back to T. I can just double click in here and I will get my text cursor. I'm going to delete this, and instead I'm going to divide these by periods like that. I'm going to make these a little bit closer, not that close. And there's only 2, so I don't have to do aligning because, you know, there's only 2, right? So I'm going to move these down a little bit here, okay, like this. And then I'm going to put a glyph here. So let's say that I wanted to add one of these glyphs. How do I add it here with nothing? I'm going to hit W. I need to put a frame here. So I'm going to go to the type tool and I'm going to make a frame. And here's my cursor. So now I'm going to go over here to glyphs, and I'm in Minion Pro because that's the default. And I know that I have, let's say, let's see. I have a font that is really, really pretty, like they're trees actually, and I don't know which one it is. And I don't want to go and stop class and like look for it and everything like that, but let's just use let's just use for an example. Let's go to floral caps and let's see, let's double click this. Okay, so these are different flowers, right? So I'm going to highlight this guy. Okay, actually I'm going to do Command A, and then I'm going to make this a lot bigger. Now, if you go too far, you won't see it anymore. Like if I keep making this bigger and bigger and bigger, there'll be a point where it disappears because it's bigger than the frame. See how it's a text frame, right? So just keep that in mind. Okay, it's 95. So here is one image. Let's see. I'm going to try a couple of these. So what these are little parts so you can build on to this typeface. And I'm just going to go with this one just because I could sit here all day and try things, right? So I'm going to deselect and go here. Okay, I'm just going to call that a day just because I could mess with this forever. Now, what if I want this to be a little bit smaller? I'm going to hit Command and Shift at the same time. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And if I wanted this to be in the middle of the page, what I could do is I would go to the type tool and I would hit center. And now it's centered in the frame. And now when I move the frame back and forth, when I hit the middle of the page, it's telling me, that should be centered, right? But it looks like it's a little off. Anyway, not a big deal. Now I am seeing on this, actually, it would be good if it just is down here like this or something. Okay. Anyways, before I go, now you see how we are seeing these number signs in here. Okay, so that's something that is, I think what that is a, those are the paragraph, I think, I'm not sure, paragraph or something. So story editor, I have to find out what those are. They're kind of driving me nuts. Window, it should be in view. Column guides, extras. I have to find out what those are. I'm not exactly sure what those are. Conveyor, I think that might be, is that it? No, I don't know what it is. I have to find out. They look like paragraph. It looks like a paragraph or the end of something. I have to find out. Anyways, Let's say now what you guys would do at this point, let me get rid of this. Now what you guys would do at this point is you would do, now I'm going to talk about color in class. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself one color to work with here. Let me deselect everything and go to W. So this is what I have so far. And right away, I just have to fix this because it's kind of driving me crazy. So with these guys, I'm gonna go ahead and put this like sort of like this. Better. And this is why I'm not doing all the layouts on here with you guys, because it's layout, you know what I mean? Okay, that's better. Anyways, so let's just say that I know what color I want to do. Give me a sec. And I do. Okay, we're going to talk about this in class. So I'm going to go over here to, I'm going to go here. Okay, let's say that I want this. I'm going to double click this here. I know the color that I want this to be. Okay, and the color that I want this to be is just magenta 100. And I want this to be K0. Okay. Actually, I could just use that. That's one of the swatches that I have. So let's actually mix the color. Let's say that I'm going to do, sorry, ill-prepared. Ill-prepared I am for this. I should have had the color ready to go, but I didn't. Okay, let's say that I'm going to mix up cyan 20, tab, magenta is going to be 100. Okay, that's what I want. I'm going to click on OK. And now I have that color. If I go over here to my swatches, you can see that it is not there. So this is a better way to do it. So I'm going to go to swatches, go to here, new color swatch. Okay, and then process, which is CMYK, perfect, CMYK, perfect. So this is the color I just mixed. I'm going to add it. And then it's here. What's nice about that is that it lets me easily change the color here, okay? And of course, glyphs, you can also change the color. So let's see, I'm gonna go deselect everything, hit W, which is preview, okay? Go to the type tool, and then I want to select this glyphs. It's giving me kind of a hard time. So I'm going to move the frame a little bit bigger, go to the type tool again. There, highlight this. Is this one? Yes, okay. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to hit W. Okay. So this is one of my options, okay? And then I'm going to hit W again. And of course, now you just continue and do these other options. And then for the class, this is how you have to export it. Okay, so I have all my pages done. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Export. And I'm going to put it in my business card file. You guys should have a file happening with all of your business card stuff in it, because we are actually going to do this for a couple weeks. We're going to use these as a great guinea pig project to work with some different stuff, right? So this needs to be a PDF. It has to be a PDF because it will embed all the fonts that you used, and later it will embed images. So we need it to be a PDF. And there are two different kinds of PDFs. We have interactive PDFs and we have print PDFs. And for this project, we want a print PDF. So I'm going to go save, and then it's going to ask me some questions. And this is really important. If I save it as pages, I'm not going to see these two things next to each other. They're just going to be separate like they were before. I got to change it to spreads. High quality print is fine. Export. And then what you're going to have, I'm going to go ahead and save my InDesign file. And then I'm going to find my business card. I'm going to go ahead and give this to you guys when I post the video. And here's my PDF, and that's what you'll upload to the assignment. Double click it. Okay. You see how my business cards are showing right next to each other. Now, the one thing that I don't like about this is that the business cards kind of, if you have a white background, you don't see where where they split. So if that's the case, if you're using all one color, like on both sides, then what we're gonna do, excuse me, is I'm gonna go back in my file. And this, of course, would be removed before printing, but just so it's clear. And the reason we're doing it like this is that it's practice for you showing a client stuff. So, you know, you'll know that these are two separate files, right? But you want the client to know that they're two separate files. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to my frame tool, right? And I'm going to put a frame around the trim, right, of the card, right, like this. Let go, and then I'm going to give it a little black stroke. This is the fill, this is the stroke. I'm going to bring this forward, and if I gave it a stroke right now, it would be pink, right? And I don't want it to be pink. So I'm going to go over here to swatches, and I'm going to click on black, and it gave it a black stroke. I'm going to hit W. I hit W again. And then I'm going to hit Option, and I'm going to move this guy over here and put it on top of this card. Now, the one bad thing about this is that, let's say that I want to do an edit now, and I want to move these flowers because they're still really not in the middle. And I'm like, oh, I want to move these flowers. Okay, I'm going to move these flowers. You see, I just put this big ass frame over my layout. So every time I click here or here, I'm clicking this frame that I put on top of everything. So in order to fix that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on both of these frames, and I'm going to go to Object, and I'm going to go to Arrange, and I'm going to go Send to Back. Deselect. And now, because they're in the back, I can click on the things that are on top of them, and I could still select if I wanted to. Okay, let's save that. Command S. Let's export it. File. Export. And I'm just gonna, you know, same name. So, oh, yep, replace it. Spreads. Okay. Let's see how this one looks. So the presentation is really important. This is idea presentation. You're presenting these ideas. So everything you present in the class, you really want it to have a really nice finish. You want to really present well. So I'm going to double click this, and this is exactly the way that it should be presented. Okay, so that is basically your assignment. I will see you in class. Okay, guys.